Hi there, and welcome to Grimwit with Dimwits. I'm Blondie,
And I'm T.
and we are excited to share another episode with you. But first, T, I wanted to tell you, I'm getting ready to go on vacation.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know how I do love to watch my Facebook videos or whatever videos I have in mind at the moment.
You mean waste a lot of time on Facebook? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, that's me. Ms. Waste of Time. I was looking at one about beach hacks, during the summer, the things you could do at the beach to make your life easier. And I have to admit, some of these were pretty smart. However, some of them are absolutely ridiculous. And I thought you would get a kick out of some of these.
As a beach going gal myself, not that I go much these days, but spend our every holiday at the beach as a kid. I am curious. Go for it.
Okay, so one of them I was watching, and this lady was laying on her back, and she was having an issue. So she dug a hole and actually made the sand like a beach chair. Put a towel over it. I thought that's pretty clever. I mean, of course, if you have to roll over, it's not very clever.
That is pretty clever. Yeah, I like that one.
Another one I liked is they took a plastic bag, filled it with water, and put it by their towel. So when they get back from the water, and you got sand in your feet, you don't want sand on your towel. Just rinse your feet in the little bag, and then you can go on your towel.
Oh, that is kind of clever because I hate sand all over everything. That's so irritating.
Seriously. And when you go home, don't you find sand in places that sand should not be?
Yes, I do. And that sand is sharp, okay? Like little shards of glass.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm going to go into the ridiculous. There was this lady had 2 towels, and she got out of the water and she laid one towel out, jumped on it, then took her other towel, laid that out and jumped on that, then took the first towel, and every other time she's flipping I thought, okay, really, lady? Didn't you not see the one with the lady with her bag full of water? Why are you
so much easier than trying to build a towel bridge?
I actually saw one where they were building a clothes bridge as well. I thought, oh, okay. Seriously.
That's a lot. You're at the beach. There's sand all around you. That's a lot of work to avoid getting sand on your feet.
Or the one where I saw them put sunscreen on a mini paint roller and she rolled it on her back.
Okay. That I like. I'm down for that. You can't get your back. You need it. You need an option for that. I like that one.
Or the one lady that took her duvet cover, opened aside, took everything out, then she put it over her so she could change in the middle of the beach in a duvet cover.
What? Did she have like sticks propping it up? Or?
No. She just put it over her head. She's inside this duvet cover, changing her clothes.
In there like a snake in a pillowcase, just trying to get her clothes on and off. That's so freaking weird.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, so now I'm going to go from ridiculous to what are you thinking?
Okay.
I only got 2 of these. So the first one is kind of actually a little bit on the gross side. You know those big clear storage bins?
Big clears, like the kind that just come with a top and...
Yeah. They just come with a top. So I saw a woman dig a hole, put the storage bin inside, put a trash bag, like a 13-gallon trash bag, inside that, and put the lid on it. Then, after sitting for a while, she gets up, she takes the top off, she has a sarong on, sits down in this thing, not all the way in, but I don't know how she didn't fall in, to be honest with you. So she could tinkle.
Shut up. No.
And the only thing I didn't see was her wipe, which was like, that was even worse.
Well, that's what the ocean's for.
Oh, she had to bring her...
I grossed myself out. Sorry. I take that back.
Okay, then we go from that to my all-time what the heck. There was a picture showing a woman walking on the beach barefoot, but her feet were burning because the sand or the rocks were hot. She took pads, like women's time of the month pads with the wings, the long ones, and actually put them on her feet, put the wings over the top so she could walk. If you're going to carry pads, why not just carry your flip-flops?
Right. That's a lot of work. And what happens when your feet get sunburned in the feminine napkin pattern? You explain that. Your
With
feet have
wings.
wings.
So, needless to say, I will not be doing majority of these things.
Thank you. We will never go to the beach together again if you
Ew.
get any of these ideas. It's not happening. We can make sand beach chairs. I'm totally down for that, but nothing else.
There were some more, but I think I'll just stop there and let it
Yeah.
go. We don't want to traumatize them.
Right. Oh, okay. Those were good. I like them.
Okay.
I
So,
like 'em. The Tinkle Lady was the.
and I don't know
That
how she
one.
didn't fall in.
How do you just like you're in public? How are you just going to the bathroom right there?
I don't know, but she did put the lid back on. I guess that's like the toilet, top of the toilet.
She's so conservative and proper.
Right.
Wow, that's insane.
I know. That
was a good one.
Okay. There you go. Everybody get ready for summer. There's some ideas for you.
There you go. Write those down.
Well, so, Miss T, what do we have this week?
Well, we're going to stick with the ridiculous theme because this story's pretty ridiculous. I saw this on Netflix. I've seen a few good things on Netflix, so sorry if I keep doing Netflix ones, guys, but there's some good ones out there, and I'm just like, I got to do it. And if it's fresh in my mind, I like to do it when it's fresh in my mind. So this show is called Lover, Stalker, Killer. And I don't think this could be more appropriately named because it's all of that.
There you go. And you know what? By doing Netflix, it'll give somebody something to watch if they want to, look for something new. They can hear our story and watch it on Netflix.
There you go. Put the faces to the names.
There
and there's a lot of people that talk about like, I don't know what to watch next. So feel free to watch these guys. They're pretty interesting. Interesting. And yet at the same time, you're just going, how do people do these things? It's insanity.
I don't get it.
I don't either. All right. So let's get into this. Let's let the grim begin. This story begins with a young couple, Dave and Amy. They met at work and quickly fell in love. They set up house and started a family. In the beginning, they had a beautiful son and daughter and were quite happy.
Wait. Do they say how long they were together before they set up house?
They don't say. It seems like it happened pretty quickly. They give they're trying to give the impression it was like boom, boom, boom.
Well, hasn't anybody ever heard of the honeymoon period?
Probably not in this case. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. But as life went on, Amy was working nights and Dave was working days. Without seeing much of each other, they slowly started growing apart and just weren't happy anymore. So they amicably decided to split, but remained close for their children.
Quick beginning and quick ending.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, right? Amy decided to move to Omaha, Nebraska, and Dave followed her to be close to his kids. He got himself a little apartment and a new job as an auto mechanic. But being newly single in a new area at 35, he was lonely. So Dave decided to try dating online using a very popular website, plentyoffish.com. After a few days of no success, he finally got a message from a 34-year-old lady by the name of Liz Golyar. She was attractive, very outgoing, and owned her own cleaning service. She also seemed to love animals. She had 2 dogs, a cat, and a huge snake. She was down to earth, and after chatting, it turned out that they had a lot in common. They both liked sci-fi action movies, heavy metal, and she even liked motorcycles, which was great because Dave had a motorcycle. And she too had a son and daughter, just like him. They seemed like a match made in heaven.
You had to throw a snake in there for like good measure?
I didn't throw it in. She threw it in, but I love snakes. I don't know why people don't like snakes. They're pretty cool, but I won't own one because most of them need like live protein, and I can't stomach feeding little critters to big critters. And I don't do crickets. Heck to the no on crickets. Ugh, disgusting.
Oh, heaven forbid you get one in your house. Ooh.
Oh, God, no. No, I'm moving. So Dave was excited about his first real date after many years, and immediately they hit it off after meeting. She was very smiley, energetic, and full of life. After a fun evening, they ended up spending the night together. They both felt like it was a great matchup, and Dave now had someone to hang out with when he wanted, but still had his personal space. He says she was just what he needed at that time in his life. They hung out every once in a while, but he made it very clear to Liz that he was absolutely not ready to be tied down, and she accepted that with no problem.
Wow.
I know. Big girl panties. Then one day when Dave was at work, another beautiful woman by the name of Cari Farver came into the auto shop. As the manager of the shop, he spoke to and assisted her, but there was no flirting. He kept it professional. Then
Look at him.
I know, being all big boy pants. Then a couple of weeks later, when he went back onto the dating site, he saw Cari Farver on the site. And as it turns out, 37-year-old Cari had also been looking for love. So he messaged her and she remembered him. So they set up a date. Their date went very well and Cari opened up about herself. He learned that she was a single mother, but she was career-driven and had done well. Her spirit and her drive definitely made her stand out. Dave says she was smart and sexy and definitely out of his league all the way around. But he asked her if she wanted to go back to his place, and she said, sure.
Ooh, I see some turmoil a-brewing.
Yep. Just because there's plenty of fish doesn't mean he shouldn't be catching them one at a time. He got a little greedy.
Okay. He's got his worms all ready to go, apparently.
Live bait. Dave claims that as he and Cari walked into his front door, they hadn't even taken their coats off when his doorbell rang, and sure enough, Liz was at the door. She told him that she had left something in his apartment that she needed to get. So awkwardly, he lets her into his apartment and walks Cari out. Liz looks at Cari briefly before heading into the apartment. Due to this interruption, Cari decided to head home. Dave calls her to apologize, and she offers that he comes to her apartment for the night instead. So he does.
Okay.
Bomb chicka bow wow. When Dave arrives at Cari's home, she says to him, quote, look, we're not girlfriend and boyfriend, we're not monogamous, and we're not getting married. This is just going to be for fun, end quote. And Dave is like, quote, oh my God, what the hell? Yes, I'm in, end quote.
You didn't have to tell him twice. Isn't that like most men's fantasies?
Right? The perfect, no drama, cool chick.
He scored.
Mm-hmm. But as it turns out, Cari worked about 3 blocks from Dave's apartment, so they immediately started spending a lot of time together, more than expected. But they were actually developing a relationship, getting to know each other better, and they both were very happy with this arrangement. Then one morning, Dave gets up for work and kisses Cari on the cheek before heading out the door, which was totally normal. Then a couple of hours later, he gets a text from Cari saying, quote, we should move in together, end quote. Dave's a little caught off guard by this, but he responds with, quote, yes, it's been hot and heavy, but it's also only been 2 weeks. I thought we talked about this, end quote. That's a reasonable response.
What happened to the rules that were set up to begin with?
Exactly. Then, like a Jekyll and Hyde, Cari immediately starts to barrage him with texts saying, quote, fine, F you ruined my life. I never want to see you again, end quote, and a lot more of the same kind of stuff.
So much for the most men's fantasy scenario.
Unfortunately, all that cool chick stuff is usually just a front. So now Dave is totally in shock. even though they had hit it off really well, he felt like he didn't know this person at all, apparently. So he went home at lunchtime and found there was no sign of Cari left in his apartment. She had obviously taken all of her belongings and left. Dave really was sorry it didn't work out, but after her reaction, he just wanted to move forward with his life. It seemed like he dodged a bullet.
Well, and after 2 weeks, he didn't know her. I mean,
No,
do you really know anybody in 2 weeks?
no. You could be together the whole 2 weeks, you still don't know him.
Right. What did I say earlier? Honeymoon period?
Exactly. There's a reason for that. Dave didn't hear from Cari for a couple of days. Like the calm before the storm. But then all of a sudden, she starts sending text after text after text. She began threatening to ruin his life and destroy everything he cared about. She was harassing him nonstop and getting more and more threatening as time went on.
So we went from every man's fantasy to not every man's fantasy to now we've hit nightmare mode.
But unfortunately for Dave, this will be a reoccurring nightmare.
Oh,
I know. At the same time, Nancy, who is Cari's mother, says that she also received bizarre texts from Cari. Her mother knew she had been in a new relationship and knew a little bit about Dave, but she didn't think too much of it because it was really new. But when she tried to reach out to her daughter and couldn't get a hold of her, she started to become concerned.
that always freaks me out.
I know, that would freak me out too. While at work, a couple of sheriff's deputies came in to talk to Dave. They said that Cari Farver had been reported missing by her mother. So Dave tells them that he and Cari had been seeing each other for a couple of weeks, but he's not her boyfriend anymore. Then he shows them all the nasty messages she was constantly sending him. After seeing the texts, the sheriff's demeanor changed, and they realized that this was just a bad breakup. No big deal, and hopefully she'll stop harassing him soon. The text seemed to clear him of any suspicion regarding Cari's disappearance.
I'm sure at this point he's going, what the heck? Why do I need to be cleared? I mean, he's the one thinking, I'm the one that's getting harassed.
Exactly. And I don't really think he realized she was even missing because she disappeared from him, because she was mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know this poor guy, he just wanted some attention and now he's getting it from all the wrong places. Following the sheriff's visit to Dave, Cari sends a text to her mom through Facebook saying that she's not missing. She just doesn't want to come home right now. She says she loves everybody but just needs time. And then there are no more texts until Mother's Day to wish her a good day. But following this, the messages to her mom got nasty, which was unlike Cari.
This is all becoming a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Dave says that after not seeing Liz for quite a while, she stops by to show him something concerning. The side of her vehicle has been deeply keyed. She's also getting threatening texts from Cari, calling Liz a whore and wanting her to leave Dave alone. Cari is clearly harassing Liz out of jealousy, and Dave feels really bad about this. After Cari ramps up her harassment and threats to Dave and Liz, Dave goes to the sheriff's department to see a detective that specializes in stalking.
Cari is definitely quite the little detective getting Liz's number. Sounds like she's gone a little bit off the rails here.
It really does. So Dave informed the detective that Cari was obviously following him. She would text him saying specific things about where he was and what he was doing at that very moment. She even lets him know that she's watching him at work and confirms that by giving details about the customers that he's talking to. She'd say, quote, I know every whore you're talking to, and I take pictures of their license plates. Even if they're just customers, I'm going to go after them, end quote.
I'm definitely seconding my off the rails statement. That's crazy.
What is even like a woman walks in to have her car worked on and you're a target? It's insane. So this stalking detective starts following Dave as well in order to scan the areas that he's in to see if he can spot Cari. He was doing a reverse stakeout to find out where she's watching Dave from. He even took Cari's picture and knocked on doors, but nobody recognized her.
Okay, wait a minute. There's such a thing as a stalking detective. Are you sure it's not just a regular detective in stockings?
That would be, that sounds like a lot more fun. Who knows what they're wearing under those uniforms?
Wasn't there a football player that did a stocking commercial?
Do not know that.
There was a football player. He was totally wearing these stockings, saying if his legs look so great in them, so would yours.
Oh, so it was like a promotion type thing?
Yeah.
And now I want to know. I don't know that though.
I don't know why I have Joe Namath in my brain, but if it's not him, I'm so sorry, Joe.
I was going to say, poor Joe. Okay, so then Cari sent Dave a text claiming that she got an apartment in his complex just a couple of buildings over. Dave immediately runs out to find the apartment, but the number that she gave him does not exist. He was hoping to catch her. He says he knew it was wrong, but he really wanted to hurt her because of the stuff she had been threatening to do to him and Liz. It was making him paranoid.
You think?
Right? Just the thought of somebody watching you every second of the day, that would freak me out. Walking back to his apartment, he's looking at all the different apartment windows and wondering which one she's watching him from. And dang, that's a horrible feeling. Remember the stalker that we had in our apartment building that would call us every morning?
Oh my gosh.
I got you off guard with that.
You did. Oh my. Every morning he would call.
Every morning like clockwork. And we knew he was watching us because he called and said what we were doing at that moment.
That was, remember the bra that was on our porch?
Oh, that was the end of the rope for me. Yeah. We're going on a rabbit trail, listeners, but this guy left a bra on our porch. It was just our porch in this apartment building. It belonged to nobody else. And it looked like it had blood on it. And he left it right at the doorstep.
Oh, it was so creepy. We did get rid of him, though. I had a clock radio phone. Remember when your clock radio was a phone as well? And every once in a while, Every
How
once
old are you?
I'm 12. Every once in a while, I had to like click the when you lifted it up, you had to like click it because it would stick.
Uh-huh.
And remember, we tried everything. We tried cussing at him. We tried hanging up on him. He was relentless.
He was.
So I picked it up, and I would do the little click thing. I remember that one day I was like, tell me more. Yeah, go ahead. And he cussed at me and hung up. We were trying to give the impression that he was being recorded. He never called back after that.
Well, you must have done that because I know that I talked to him and I was just sick of it. And he'd call all the time. I know we took turns answering because, there was no caller ID back then.
No.
And, we're two young single girls. We don't want to miss a phone call. So,
hello.
With this guy, I just remember saying, because I was so tired of all the disgusting things. I just remember saying, is that all you got? You said that yesterday. Oh, you said that last week. Oh, you said that. And he was just mad. It wasn't the last time he called, but he was pissed. He did not like that.
No, we were okay with that. But the more upset we got, the more I think it egged him on.
Yeah. And that's why we were trying this tactic. I think we even talked about it. Like, we're just not even going to respond. We're just going to be like, yeah, bored. So bored with that. That was so last week.
That's right.
Anyway, back in the good old days.
That was just a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, just a couple of years ago. But, okay, that was a rabbit trail. So let's get back to this. But then things got worse for poor Dave. Cari starts sending him pictures of the inside of Liz's house, asking him, where's Liz? Now, Dave is freaking out because this is a huge escalation from just getting threatening texts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's in her house, okay?
Uh-oh.
Then they find that Cari has spray painted the word whore in huge letters inside Liz's garage. So the cops were called and a police report was filed about the break-in. Dave feels really bad about how much stress this is putting on Liz and her kids. Cari was making her life a living hell. Cari has been sending Liz all the same type of threats that she had sent to Dave, but now she's even gone so far as to threaten to harm Liz's kids.
Oh,
So
no.
David, I know, despicable. So Dave and Liz reconnected and the relationship rekindled because he wanted her and her children to feel safe. Plus, she was the only other person who understood what he was going through. Now, Amy, Dave's ex-wife, knew what was going on between Cari and Dave because she was still very close with him. She told him that she didn't want the kids going over to his house with everything going on with Cari because it made her really nervous. And you know what? That's completely reasonable.
I wouldn't want to go over there either. I mean, I'm surprised Liz is still going over there with her kids. I mean, isn't that kind of like a Target situation? Let's put everybody together now.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that too. Now that you put it that way, that doesn't
Make any
sit
sense?
well. Yeah. Time goes by with Cari not slowing down, and while at work, Dave is notified that someone has broken into his apartment. Over his bed, in red lipstick, there are big letters saying, "Go away, whore." Then all of Liz's clothes were stabbed through the chest and laid out on the bed. Now that is straight up murder style stalking. I don't play with that.
That is some serious type of message that they're sending. And I say that sarcastically completely.
Right? It's definitely a direct violent threat. And Dave is worried that if Liz had been there when Cari broke in, she may have actually stabbed her. So, of course, right after this, Cari threatens to do exactly that. And she says she's going to kill Liz and no one can stop her. So at this point, you do have to admire her level of stalker commitment because this is like a full-time job. I don't know that I could squeeze one break-in into my schedule right now.
Let alone two, and leaving messages.
And stabbing all those clothes. I mean, my arm would be hurt and I'd be like, I just can't do all this. This is a lot of work.
Exactly. And I wonder if Cari does have a job. I mean, she's busy watching Dave. She's texting constantly, moving, and she's breaking into Dave's. I mean, how does she have time?
And you know, she's got to like don the black ninja outfit every time so she's not seen, make all those little ninja moves, a couple of flips. It's like, that's a lot of work. I'm sorry. I don't got time for that.
So who does?
I know, right? So following this incident, an arrest warrant is issued for Cari, but she's doing an excellent job at hiding because nobody can find her. By this time, the stalking had been going on for over a year. Dave
Wow.
says that it wasn't uncommon for him to go out to dinner with his kids, and she would text him and let him know exactly where he and his children were. Dave's normal became anything but normal, with his paranoia at an all-time high. Her constant threats included her saying that she continued to have access to his building and could get in at any time. She even claimed that she would put her ear up to his front door and could hear everything going on in his apartment. She says she's always watching him.
Somebody really needs to invest in a Ring camera with the motion sensor light.
Yeah. Dave claims that he thought he saw her at times, but it was hard to know what was real and what he might be imagining. She also starts to threaten his ex-wife and his children, saying that she's going to slit their throats while they sleep. What? Dave is way nicer than I would be with a threat like that. That would bring the ugly out in me, and I'd go Rambo on her butt so fast.
Exactly. And I can totally see you in the headband.
That sweaty tank top. I wish I had that hair. That hair was bomb.
Yeah, he did have quite a bouffant, didn't he?
He really did.
He was coiffed.
It was coiffed, right? So as time went on, Dave says he spent more and more time at the bar. He was very close to having a mental breakdown, and the drinking took the edge off. But one day, while he was at the bar, he was notified that Liz's house had been set on fire.
Wow.
I know. Then Cari texts him saying, right after this, quote, I set that nasty whore's house on fire. I hope the whore and her kids die in it. End quote.
Oh my gosh, she's crazy.
Yeah, that got real ugly real fast. So Dave rushes over to Liz's house and sees her standing alone outside watching her house burn down. Fortunately, Liz's kids were not in the house, but all of her pets were killed in the fire, and she lost everything she owns. OMG. I have nightmares of my house catching fire and me not being able to get to my pets. That would traumatize me for life.
You are definitely a pet mom. And believe me, I do understand. Although I can actually see your female princess calling 911 because she wouldn't want all her toys to burn.
She'd be like, save the toys, save the
Save
toys.
toys.
Got all her little toys out. She loves them. You're right. She's large and in charge, that's for sure.
Yes, she is. She runs you too.
Hey, and we let her, okay? She's that cute.
Yeah, she has her moments.
Yes, she does. The detectives are called to the fire scene, and they realize that this is getting to the point where somebody is about to be murdered.
Well, really?
You think? Yeah, she just missed him by that much with the fire. So they absolutely have to catch Cari before it's too late. The detectives interview Liz, and she tells them about Cari's threats to her and her children. She knew it was Cari that set the fire. She's crying and saying she just wished the whole thing would go away. After the fire, Liz moved away and didn't even tell Dave where she was going. She had had enough.
I can see that.
Yeah, I totally can see that too. I'd be like, this is too much. Dave didn't blame her for that because he understood how scared she was. But now, again, he felt very alone. He had lost his partner and the one person who understood everything he was going through. So he decided to pack up and move as well. He didn't go too far away because of his kids, but he got a new phone, a new apartment, and a new job. He wanted to rebuild his life away from Cari. But in the back of his mind, he knew she was still out there, and he continued to worry about all of that.
I would too. I mean, stalkers do have sinister skills.
And this one's highly committed, so.
Is that the term we're using?
I kind of feel like we should admire her tenacity just a tiny bit. It's a lot.
Now, if she would only channel that tenacity for good and not evil.
Exactly. 1 year later, which is actually 2 years after this whole stalking started, the case had gone cold. But Sergeant Jim Doty decided to reopen the case because he and his partner, Ryan Avis, were intrigued by it since Cari had managed to elude the police for 2 years now. The two detectives started off by visiting Cari's mother, Nancy, who lived out in Macedonia, Iowa. Nancy was very skeptical because she had talked to a lot of investigators and gotten absolutely nowhere during the entire 2 years.
That's got to be disheartening.
Yeah, so much so. But she informed the detectives that after Cari left, she had received a few messages saying that Cari had gotten a job in Kansas making $100,000 per year. So she just needed Nancy to keep her son for her, who was 14 when his mom left. Nancy thought these communications were strange because she only got messages, never a phone call from her daughter, which was very unusual. So Sergeant Doty started looking into Cari's past, and apparently she did have problems with depression and a history of bipolar, which required her to take medications. But when they looked into that, Cari had not taken any of her medications when she disappeared. So they assessed this, and they knew this could be changing her personality since she wasn't medicated properly. And the original investigators thought this was why she had turned into a different person.
A different person? That's an understatement.
Right. Right around this time, Dave was in a new city and decided that he wanted to start dating again. So he hops onto another dating website and starts talking to another woman, and he sets up a date. He goes to the agreed upon meeting place, and he waited and waited and waited, and she didn't show up. But while he's there and just about ready to leave, she sent him a message saying that she's coming, but she's running late. So he waits a little bit longer.
So can he find love the old-fashioned way? Stop using the apps?
I know. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be done with that. That's for sure. So he waits a little bit longer, and then he realizes he has been stood up. So he gets ready to go, and he receives another message from the woman's number. But this time it says, "This is Cari. F you." Dave says he had messed up and let Cari back into his life.
What?
So how did she know which dating website he would be on and which woman he would pick? Because she comes off as a totally different woman.
Didn't I say earlier? Sinister.
Really sinister and a lot of work. She had to at least posted several people up there to make sure he'd pick her. And he picks the one and it's her. How crazy is that?
This is literally insane at this point.
Yeah, it really is. But again, I'm kind of admiring her.
Okay, you're sinister.
I'm like, wow, she's willing to put the work in. Give her a chance, Dave.
All this time she's dedicating to you.
I know, right? That's love, baby. That's love. But I think, and everybody's going to hate me right now, this is a good stopping point for our part 1 of this episode.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I know.
No, I want to find out what happens.
Oh, we'll get into that next week. But yeah, this one's really pretty wild.
This has got a lot of parts, and I want to find out what happens.
It's got more parts.
You like to torture me.
I do. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
You're so mean.
I am.
I'm telling my mom. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to be patient along with all of our wonderful listeners.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, listeners.
Oh, speaking of listeners, if anyone has any ideas or any stories that they would like us to do, please shoot us an email or send us a message. We would love to look into it for you.
Absolutely. I would love some suggestions. And, I think sometimes it's easy for us to kind of, we get kind of a little stuck in our way. So I'd like someone to come in and kind of challenge us a little bit. That'd be a lot of fun.
Shake us up.
Shake us up.
Well, thank you very much for the torturous part 1.
And I'm hoping to torture you more with part 2.
Oh, please. You'll torture me tomorrow just saying hi.
You're my full-time job. This is why I don't have time to stalk properly.
That's right. Torturing me is all you have time for.
That's pretty much it.
Well, thank you for listening. And remember to take care. And don't forget to let your gramaginations run wild. Bye.
Bye-bye. We just want to thank you all for sharing your time with us. And if you'd like to send in your creepy little grim bits, we would love to hear your personal stories, interests, and suggestions. Please email them to grimwitwithdimwits@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at grimwitwithdimwits, Twitter at grimwitwithdimwits, and Facebook, Grimwit with Dimwits. Join us every Monday for new episodes and feel free to share us with your grim-loving friends.
We would really appreciate if you would take a minute to rate and review. 5-star ratings go a long way and would really help us out. Until then, we would love it if you'd come back next week to delve with us into the strange and unusual things we just can't wrap our skulls around.